Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Op-Ed Average podcast, where we have a lot of opinions, but most of them are pretty average. I'm Monica.
And I'm Anna. There's been a lot of talk on this podcast lately about generational differences, mostly because I'm super self-conscious about getting old and Mon is a lot younger than me. So this
Sure.
week, I'm the only one that brings it up, right? So this week we thought we'd face the topic head on and chat about the differences between each generation. So let's get into it.
Woo! So for those who don't really know the difference, and honestly, I'm probably one of those people, I have a hard time distinguishing the different generations. So for just quick reference, Anna actually put a little chart for me.
And I'll probably put this up too, just
yeah.
there's like a visual because
Yes.
some people might not know.
We love visual learning here. But yes, the main generations that we know of, there's obviously the boomers,
Which
So
are like pretty much like you could
that's
say
like
like
our
our
parents.
parents. Yeah,
Our
like our
parents.
parents.
So we're
Yeah.
talking about like 70 plus.
Yeah,
My
70
mom
plus.
actually just had her birthday and she just turned 70. So
Oh, okay.
sorry, Mom, you are a boomer.
I'd be pissed if that was me.
She doesn't listen to this. It's whatever.
And that's what counts, right?
Yeah. And then
Okay.
working backwards, the next generation after the boomers is Gen X. And
So that's
they're
me.
around, they're around their like mid 40s. Oh, close
Thanks,
to like
Mon.
well, I don't know how to address generation.
Yes, I appreciate that.
She's on the younger side.
Yeah, I'm a young Gen Xer.
Yeah, there you go. There
Okay.
you go. And then there's my generation, Gen Y, or more often called the Millennials.
Mhm.
There's a positive and negative connotation with that, but we're around currently, as this episode is, around late 20s.
Mhm.
And I guess it goes all the way up to like the 40s. Is it
Yeah.
like by decade? That's the thing that
So,
I'm like,
you know what's weird is that different sites that you go on, the dates are different. So it's
oh,
basically, it's like similar off by like a year or two, but it's weird. It's just like there's no actual like, I don't think there's an actual like official, date or whatever, but this is just what we found. But whenever I look this up, it's like different. It'll say like
right.
roughly blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
and side note, like when we talked about this before,
Mhm.
Tim, hi Tim, he actually said that he thought that I was like borderline, like an older millennial, but I don't consider myself one. But anyways, yeah.
Oh, okay. So after millennials, there is Gen Z,
Mhm.
or Gen Z, wherever you're coming from.
Really? I didn't know
Yes,
that either.
like I think some people pronounce Z as Z. Like I think in like New Zealand or
Mhm.
Australia, they use Z instead of Z.
Oh,
I
do you
think they
know that
pronounce
in Australia they use H instead of H?
H.
Yeah,
Like
like
they
when
say
they say,
H.
when they say like the letter H, they say H.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, we learn something new every day.
Yep.
But yeah, Gen Z, there are. Would you say that they're the ones who are gonna? No, we're not. They're not gonna help raise us. I mean, not raise us. They're not gonna take care of us when we're older, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we can count on them for that. But yeah, so that's basically like Gen Z is basically like, I guess if you think about like they're the upcoming up and coming generation at this point, because it's from, right now they're teenagers into their late 20s. So it's kind of like, it's their time.
Is it though?
I'm sad.
And then there's baby Gen Alpha, the
Yeah.
freshest of the group.
Yes,
They
which we know nothing about at this point.
Yeah. They're still a developing generation.
Yes, exactly.
And they're at most 10 years old or so, and to the newborns coming in. I don't know how long we're going to be calling Gen Alphas.
Yes,
Gen
yeah.
Alphas.
It's like a good like 20-year range, right? Like 15, 20 years per
Generation.
generation. Like
Yeah.
it's weird, but like Gen X, isn't this like, no, that's 15 years. 65. I'm not good at math.
We're
65 to 80, that's 50. I was like, wait a minute, is that
15-ish.
4? Is that 25 years? That doesn't make sense. Never mind,
We
never
give a
mind.
lot of
Cut,
leeway.
cut. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So those are the
Um,
generations.
yeah, those are the
Okay.
generations, but obviously, we're gonna just stick to what we know and what we've experienced. We can't speak
Yes.
on the boomers' behalf or a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha's behalf. We have opinions about those generations, but we'll keep it to ours.
To yeah, we will talk about our own experiences. But Mon, before we get started, can I just, so we do a little bit of research when we can, when we
Mhm.
are preparing for these episodes, and I just found like some really cool articles about what each generation is known for. So if you don't mind, I just want to share. Okay,
Yeah, please
so
share.
like really quickly, so the boomers are baby boomers, for those that don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why they're called baby. Oh, is it? Oh, here we go. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're called baby boomers because after World War II, but I guess after that, there was a baby boom where they had tons of kids. So as you, I don't know, like our parents, they have like a lot of siblings. And
Mhm.
how many siblings do your parents each have? Because mine have, like, my dad has, there's 5 of them. My mom, I think, is like 7 or 8. And
Yeah.
most of our, aunts and uncles and friends and their siblings, there's like multiples of them. So there was a
Yeah.
baby boom during that time after the
Right.
war. People got
Yeah.
busy.
It's been a long time since they
Mhm.
had the fun.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It was a
uh,
lot of heartache, I guess.
so they got to work and build
Yeah.
big
So
families,
were
so
your parents, did they have a lot of siblings too?
they did. They
Oh,
had
wow.
I think they had 5 each, or there
Oh,
was
wow.
5 of them
Yeah.
in total each or something like that.
Yeah. It's so
So
crazy because these days we never see like our friends, like,
mhm.
I think the max is like 2 to 3 kids, like 3 is even a lot already, but like
Yeah,
no one has more than that. So,
right.
okay. So, that those are the baby boomers. So, some characteristics for them are like they have a really strong work ethic, and they're optimistic, I guess. I don't know if that's true. I kind of feel
Can
like they do
someone
have.
the boomers write this?
I know, they're talking good about themselves. Okay, so the next one is the Gen X. So that's,
Yes.
I consider myself a Gen Xer. So they're called the middle child generation. I don't know what that means, but they're
Mm.
the first generation to grow up with personal computers. And let's see what else. Okay, and it's characterized by this generation. Gen Xers are adaptable, independent, and self-sufficient, which I kind of think that I am.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Okay, now you, Mon, you're, a millennial, so you,
Yes.
like the kids of baby boomers pretty much. So,
Yeah.
let's see. So, they're the largest generation worldwide at this point, you guys are. And here's an interesting fact. Millennials make up over a third of all vegans.
Oh.
And this is not my opinion. I'm just reading this article, and it's saying they are considered to be narcissists. I don't know if it's also known as the me generation. Do you think that's true?
Feel like whoever wrote this was
Was not a
biased.
millennial. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Where's the
but
positive stuff?
yeah, but oh, here we have some positive stuff. So millennials are said to be the most educated out of all generations, which I
You know what
agree.
that means, right?
You
That
guys are
means we're
smart.
the ones no, it means we were, told to go to college a
Yeah,
lot,
that's true.
but
That's
I
true.
wouldn't say educated means, like, we're smart. We just have a lot of student debt that we're trying to get rid of.
That is true also. That's true of the
Yeah.
millennials. Okay, last. So Gen Z,
Mm,
interestingly, so Gen Z are the ones that are like teenagers and into their late 20s. So
mhm.
it says that 1 in 6, I don't know what the numbers on this are, but 1 in 6 people in Gen Z identify as LGBTQIA plus. So that's
Oh,
really
interesting.
interesting. They're the first generation that grew up 100% with the internet, and
Mm.
they are the most ethnically diverse generation there is.
How do you even get those numbers
I
together?
have no idea. I'm
We're
being
gonna link this
confused.
article down
Yeah,
below,
yeah, it's
so
not us giving these opinions, but we found these, but I thought that was just super interesting that,
interesting.
they have those, characteristics for each, generation. So, Mon, okay, so we'll move on. So now, we'll basically talk about, what we know, which is Gen Y and X, right? Like, getting confused, and then the differences between the 2. So
Yes.
I just listed a couple of things that, so we'll just go down the list and we'll just chat, okay?
Mhm,
So this is something that's come up already on our podcast
mhm.
before, so I wanted to bring it up first, but, like, languages and slang.
The lingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a very common topic because, I mean, being at it, like, we talk all the time and,
Mhm.
you know, despite the generation gap, I guess you could say, we talk as if, like, we're in the same generation. But then there's,
Yeah.
like, moments where we think of a word and it's like, "Wait a minute. What does that mean?"
Yeah, yeah.
Or, I don't know, we're also just come to realize that there's, like, new slang and new lingo coming up, and we're both
Mhm.
asking each other, "Do you know what that
Yeah.
means?"
So the one that I remember, like, big time that we talked about this, like, in a big group, we talked about this multiple time, is the word tripping, right?
Ye
So
yeah.
this is kind of like where it stemmed from, where I don't know, like, we even talked about this at book club, like, our friend
Mhm.
Mary Lou, hi Mary Lou,
"Hi,
she's the like,
Marilyn."
she, like, gave a good example, but I don't really know if that's what I thought it was. So, for a Gen Xer, and Gen Xers, please, like, comment and back me up here. So, like, tripping for us was, like, the beginning of a relationship with someone, which I know is very weird, but, like when you first start talking, so talking was another one of the things that, was brought up, but, like, talking and tripping, and that was, like, you, like, starting to hang out with someone for the first time, and I swear I'm not making this up, because Mon and the rest of the group, don't believe me, but Ab did confirm it as well, but of course he's biased. So, and for you guys, Mon, what is your definition of tripping? This is
If
so
my
funny.
interpretation is correct, tripping for us was like, "You're crazy,"
Yeah.
or
You're
in a
high.
different yeah, you're, like, high on drugs or something, you're
Yes.
tripping out
Yeah.
on drugs.
Yeah. And
Uh
I don't disagree, because that is what it means too. Like, I think it
mhm.
probably evolved to that, but I swear when I was growing up, it meant, like, you were, like, starting to date. So,
Yeah,
we'll
it's just
see if
interesting the transition from,
Mhm.
like, that topic to, getting high
Yeah,
as a
like,
form of tripping.
it's so different, right? It's
Yeah.
like the meaning is just so, so different. So
Yeah, or, like, I've been, scrolling through TikTok and, there's this teacher, I think he's a millennial, and he's a teacher to, like, younger students, so the newer generations,
Mhm.
and he was talking about he gaslights his students into
Uh-huh.
thinking that there's some new slang or lingo out that he's just, like, creating on his own, and he just casually slips it into conversation so that it sounds like, "Oh, yeah, this is totally cool new lingo."
Yeah, yeah. To see how far they take it or whatever.
Yeah, they might, like, ride with it, and it's like, "That sounds cool. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say that." Or if they even think it's stupid, but they say it so often that they think it's stupid that it
Yeah.
transitions into a
It
cool
like, you
thing.
may I mean, that has to be how some things get started, right? It can't
Mhm.
just, like, be out of thin air. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That is actually really funny. I was watching this there's this, like, we talked about this is so random, but, like, there's a TV show out there, it's called Outlander. Remember we talked about
Uh-huh.
this, like, the last time we were hanging out, and it's
Mhm.
about, not a spoiler alert, but, like, this woman, she basically, like, time travels, and she traveled back in time, and she said the word "fuck" for the first time, like, in that,
Yeah.
wherever she was. Like,
Yeah.
she was like, "Fuck," or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's how it kind of, like, in the show, it, like, backdated it. It ended up starting even earlier than it should had, because
Mm.
she went back and, like, but yeah, of course, people catch on and start talking about, like, different words. What other words can you think of that are, like, mean different things. That's the only one I had. I had something else that that I wanted to like talk about. But like do you remember any other words?
I wasn't considered a cool kid, so I didn't say, like, cool things.
You are proper. You're more proper.
I'm
But
very I'm a suburban child, okay?
okay. So
So
let me just like bring these up. This is kind of funny. So like
mm,
for it's kind of just like words that were started by like certain generations. So
mhm.
you know one word that is like totally stuck but was a Gen X like it says like Gen X is responsible for like the widespread use of this word is dude, which
Ooh.
is crazy because everyone says dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
I
thought that was
mean,
pretty funny.
I did have a dude era. I think it was more
Everyone
like
does.
in, like, high school or something, so,
Mhm.
yeah, I would just be calling everybody dude, guys,
Yeah,
girls.
yeah. So there's a couple. So I have like a couple from each of ours. So for Gen X, it's other words are like gnarly is from
Oh,
that time.
gnarly. Jay
Yeah.
still uses that
Yeah,
sometimes.
I do. I use that word. Yuppie. Do you know what a yuppie
Yuppie?
is? Do you know what a yuppie is?
I know what a guppy is. What's a
God,
yuppie?
I can't explain it. Ugh. It's like, oh god, I might not even like know it correctly, but it's kind of like, let me Google it real quick so I can explain it. Like I can see it in my head, but like I don't know how to explain it correctly. It's like to me, it's like a person that is like someone that is like wearing like a sweater vest and like khakis and is like wearing a polo shirt and kind of
Like a
like
preppy dude?
a preppy dude. Yeah, exactly. I looked it up.
Oh,
I actually
yuppie.
looked it up and there's there like the, meaning for yuppie in the Oxford Dictionary says a young person with a well-paid job and fashionable lifestyle. I don't know about
Interesting.
that. Yeah, yeah. And then other words that okay, before you get into the millennial, but chill pill. Like, take a chill pill?
Oh, yeah, chill pill. It just
Yeah.
gradually shortened to just
To
chill.
just chill, yeah. And then have you ever heard of this? Talk to the hand.
Oh, talk to the hand.
Yeah. So supposedly those are words that were like, brought by like, Gen Xers. Okay, you tell me about millennials.
Let's see. Well, in that relation, I just thought of, like, did you guys say, like, oh, I guess maybe it was, like, younger, so I don't know if that counts either. Like, "Stop, don't touch me there. This is my no-no square."
No.
And they do
Excuse
the dance move, "Stop, don't touch me there. This is my no-no square."
where does that come from? Can you do that again?
Embarrassed. I
That's
can't
so
believe I said that
funny.
out loud. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. It's getting hot.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, yeah, I think that was, like, our version of it.
Mhm.
I'm crying. Okay, okay, let's see, what does this one say? Oh, someone's saying the talk to the hand was millennials.
Ooh, someone's trying to claim it.
I was gonna say, I mean, but if you said it, like, back then obviously it can't go forward and then backwards.
Well, what if someone traveled in time?
We have an
Like
Outlander
like
moment.
Outlander, yeah.
Why is there a Belfie?
Delphi. Oh, I saw
Oh,
that too.
oh, this
I
can't be
think
real.
I think someone's just making shit up, maybe. But,
Gen this I have never heard anybody in my generation
say
call it
Belfie.
Belfie. For
I
those
think
who
this
aren't
is more
reading
like yeah, I think this is more like, I guess, like, it is like internet terms, but the first one is turnt, right? Like, that has to be,
yeah,
like, you
a
guys
turned
that
up.
made that up.
You know, I wish I could
Take
confirm or deny, but
you could claim it.
I don't wanna claim Belfie. It's defined as a selfie of your butt.
I've never heard of it before this article, so,
Well, why are we taking selfies of our butt?
yeah, it's a weird one.
We did a lot more internet slang
Yeah.
because yeah, the computers and chats and all that stuff.
Mhm.
We did a lot of acronyms, but I guess there's a lot of acronyms now too, but we did a
Yeah.
lot of, like, FOMO or, YOLO was, like, our thing, right? Like, that came
Yeah,
up during
yeah.
our generation.
Mhm.
Um
I think it's because this is the generation that, like, the cell phones and the texting, right, was
Right.
like yeah, like, so tell me, how old were you when you started texting? Because for us, we oh my god, this is so not embarrassing, but, like, totally brings me back, but we used pagers to text. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah, I always
Yeah.
wondered how teenagers worked.
Yeah. It wasn't just for doctors. We all had pagers. So the whole pager thing for us started in high school,
Uh-huh.
and we basically used it to communicate. So basically, like, numbers would signify, like, letters. Like, for example, like, a B would be an 8, and an
Oh,
E would be like it would be a 3, like a backwards 3, but it was still
mhm.
a 3, stuff like that. So we literally would, like, write out sentences on a pager, and,
Mm.
but you would, like, obviously, like, this is before cell phones, so you would literally pick up your house phone, you would dial the number, and then you would start typing on your house phone, and that would, like, end up on your
Instead of
pager.
just calling the person because they don't have a portable phone at the
Yes,
time.
yeah, because all they had was their pager.
Interesting.
I
That's
cannot
also
believe
doesn't seem very efficient for doctors either, but
yeah, I and then, like, there was, like, things like, if someone, like, messaged you not messaged, but, like, what paged you, it was paged. So someone paged you 911. It was
what?
like an emergency and you should
Yeah.
call them. Yeah. Stuff
Oh,
like that.
okay. I was like,
Yeah.
does it mean something else?
No, it was just like call them back, like, right away.
Was
But for you so
143 for you guys too?
yeah,
Oh,
143, we
okay.
did
So it
that.
goes back that far.
Um, do you know what 823 is?
What the heck is 18? Is 8 like the number of letters for a word?
Yeah,
What 8-letter word?
it's thinking of you. Oh my god. Does it add up?
Yeah. I was just like, that doesn't sound as cute.
You should text Jay that tomorrow and see if he knows what you're talking about. But, like, okay, so for you guys, did you have a cell phone in high school or, like, when you were a baby or what?
Yeah. Even when I was a child. I did have one, but I didn't have one until high school, I think.
And was
Yeah.
texting already a thing? Because like,
It
when s
was, but I wasn't on that plan.
okay.
So, I wasn't allowed to text because.
'Cause I think, like, before even, like, texting as we know now, it was like oh god, I can't remember, but it was like I mean, I remember a time when the cell phones, like, it wasn't like a keypad type thing. It was like I don't know if it was the first one, but do you remember, like, was it Motorola that came out with a sidekick? Do you remember that?
I remember the sidekick. I can't remember if it's Motorola, but I always thought those sidekicks were so cool.
Yes,
People
yeah.
wearing it on their hip,
Yes,
and then they
yes.
pull it out like a holster, and then they
Mhm.
flip it.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, that thing looks bulky as heck
You know, it's
compared
funny,
to our
we had
phones now.
I know. We had similar things for pagers. I don't know in my head, like, there's, like they were Motorola. There's, like,
Mm,
different types. Like, there was the ones that would look like what the doctors had, where it was just the top that, had the messages or whatever, and then they came out with this really cool one, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I wanna say it was like a plus. I don't know. I don't really know the name, but it was, like, sideways, kinda like a sidekick where the message came out,
oh.
like, bigger and it was, like, on
Oh,
its side. It was really cool, but, like, I don't remember the name of it. But, yeah, even, like what
oh.
I'm saying is, like, even texting, like, evolved, right? Like, it wasn't,
Yes.
like, what it is now. It was different, like, when we first it was, like, you use the numbers, like, you would press, like,
The
the
9 key
ABC.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like that. I never did that. I think I didn't do that. I just started texting when, I got my iPhone. Like,
Mm.
I remember yeah.
You skipped the difficult part.
Yes, I
I
skipped it if
did
I wasn't
manage to
capable.
get into texting when it was still, like, 9 key, and I remember having to, like, press those things, like, multiple times
Mhm.
just to get to a C or
Well, and then you would miss it because 'cause you're
Yeah,
going too fast,
you
right?
gotta press
Right.
it again.
Oh my god, so
Um,
funny.
but yeah, my first phone, I believe, was a Nokia, and I
Respectable,
I
respectable.
also and I played a lot of Snake.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It texting, I wasn't allowed to text until, like, way later. So, I think I missed the wave on when we actually started in my generation.
Yeah. Okay, Mon, let's move on to another topic that I listed on here, which I think is really interesting, is that
Mm.
dating is really different than what it was,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So tell me about like, okay, so as a millennial, like how do most millennials like find people to date or, I assume
Um,
it has something to do with that internet.
the good old internet. We're always meeting people on the internet. I would say that in my generation, we were definitely, like, more open to online dating apps or
Mhm.
just dating apps in general. I guess back then it was online dating. They didn't have apps for the actual thing.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh yeah, so no app, so it was like websites pretty much.
yeah.
Was it like
So,
classified ads kind of?
classified
No.
ads?
Do you know what that is?
Is that on the newspaper?
Yes. But I mean like online, like not, like on your computer or whatever.
Like Craigslist?
Yeah, kind of. Kind of.
I'm sure some people found
Mhm.
people that way. Probably not in the most,
Safest
kosher
way,
way.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, probably not like safe.
I had a lot of friends who, ventured into the whole, online dating thing. I
Mhm.
don't know if it's because we had so much access to the internet that, we were just talking to people on AIM, Instant
I was just gonna
Messenger.
say, wasn't that such a big thing? What AOL? Like
Yeah.
oh my god, yeah. So that didn't come out for us until we were in college. Like I remember
Mm,
when I was in college, that was such a big thing. And like my friends were meeting up with all kinds of people that they met like in chat rooms. And like
right.
remember, yeah, you remember how you could classify like if you were, I think you could classify like if you were from the Bay Area, like if you
Oh,
were like Asian or, there were
mhm.
like all these different chat rooms and stuff. What a
Right.
wild time.
Yeah, I would say that for us, we did a lot of online dating and then we would meet up with those people after talking with them for a
Mhm.
while. I personally found it a little awkward for me to put myself out there and then talk to people. I would just convince myself that, that I don't know how to flirt. So I don't know
Was
if
it
this is flirting or am I just being nice or the
like, is it
opposite they
oh, yeah,
think.
I never thought about that, like, how yeah, like, I guess sometimes people find it easier to flirt online than, like, in real life, right? I mean,
Right.
that's what, like, the internet is. You can be, like, whoever you wanted, right?
Right. You could either be like someone completely different, like catfishing,
Yeah, like a catfish.
or you could be like, yeah, your true self and then open up to someone who's a complete stranger and then,
Yeah.
have some kind of love story.
Yeah, yeah. So for us, it was old school, like, people
Uh-huh.
would meet in person. So, I was thinking about this because I knew we were gonna talk about this tonight. So on my drive home, I was like, "What did we use?" Like, it was just, like, basically people that you met, like, in high school was, like, people in your high school or other high schools that, friends of friends. I know people would meet, like, through people a lot,
Mhm.
like, that's how Ab and I met. We met through like his best friend and my best friend at the time were siblings. So that's
Mhm.
how we met. And then like, like going out, like meeting at clubs and bars and the mall and like which no malls aren't even a thing anymore. How sad. But like, yeah, like stuff like that. One of the things that I always bring up that I think is such a cool thing, but people I think my age can relate or remember how when you first started dating someone, you would talk on the phone, like literally talk on your house phone for like hours, and your parent would pick up and be like, pick up the
Get
other
off the
line and
phone.
be like, get out, like you're still on, or like it's super late, or what, much harsher than that. But I
Yeah.
totally remember like, talking on the phone for hours on end, like in the middle of the night with, whoever it was that you were tripping with or whatever.
Mm.
So, and I
Tripping
think that
with?
that's,
Tripping on?
tripping with, you trip
Oh,
with
okay.
someone,
Ah,
yeah.
okay,
And I feel like
grammatically.
that's like, yeah, like lost on like these, like in this generation, I think, especially like for Gen Z, where it's like mostly texting. So, I'm sure like that's how they mostly communicate with their significant others or people that they're dating, is through like apps or text and stuff like that. So I think that that's something that I love about my generation. And I feel like it sucks that it's gone. Like even like talking on the phone with your friends, like, for
Mhm.
hours, and prank calls and all that kind
Right.
of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, kind of on the same line in, like, texting, I guess going back to texting, I remember reading something where they can tell if you're, like, a millennial or some other generation by the way that you text, and I remember hearing that LOL, or, a lot of people put LOL.
Mhm.
I just never did LOL, though, I always did the haha
Oh,
thing,
I'm
and
very LOL,
yeah.
as you probably know, because we text all the time.
But then, you know how we always do the laughing, crying face when we're,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
instead of the "ha or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah.
Apparently, younger generations can tell that, like, "Oh, you're old because you use a lot of the laughing, crying emojis." They don't do that anymore,
So what
apparently.
did they do? That's
They
like the
the
best
skull
emoji.
they
They
use
what?
the skull,
Mhm.
because 'cause you're laughing so hard that you're dead.
Oh god, I don't like that. I don't agree. But I have seen the use of the skull.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm dead,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm like and then
It's
they
so
can also
funny.
tell that it's not
Mhm.
just 1 laughing, crying emoji that you use, it's 3 in
Yes, I
particular.
use 3. Oh, so I dead
It's a good
giveaway.
number.
Yeah, yeah. It's extra funny. But I read somewhere that, like, people that use the laughing, crying emoji are, like, happy if you use it a lot, or if it's your top used, how, like, in the one corner, you see,
Mhm.
like, the one that you use the most, like, if you use that the most, then it's like you're a happy, you're whatever, not a happy person, but it's just, like, your conversations are, like, pretty good if all you guys are doing is, like, laughing all day, which
Right.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I abuse it all the time, so
Yeah, now I'm gonna think about that.
yeah. Anyway,
Every time I use it.
yeah, we were talking about dating. I know that you guys are saying, like, you talked on the phone a lot.
Mhm.
My version of because we were doing mostly, like, chat or, like, messages or texting, um, I would write, like, long ass texts or messages.
Ooh.
Like, I would do, like, paragraphs in a 1 message, and I remember doing that with Jay when we were first talking online. Because if you're new here, I actually met Jay initially on a dating website, dating app.
Mhm.
I was actually on the dating website. Jay was using the dating app. And so
Oh, was
he
it
was
different?
yeah, I guess so because, the format, you see it on a tiny screen here, and then
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
the computer, I just have this
Mhm.
whole
Yeah,
screen
yeah.
that you type in. So I
Mhm.
was here typing away, writing, like, my essays,
Mhm.
and then he would also return back, like, also pretty lengthy replies, like we
Mhm.
were writing letters to each other,
Aw, that's so
and then
cute.
it wasn't until later that we started dating. He was like, "Man, yeah, you were, like, writing a lot, and I wanted to, give the same energy." So, I was, like,
Aw.
typing on my phone for, like, the
Mhm.
longest time, and I'm like, "You're doing it on the phone?"
You thought he was on a computer too?
Yeah, and then he was mind blown that I was doing them on the
Yeah.
computer. He's like, "No wonder you were writing so."
Like, it was so easy because you have, like, a keyboard that you're
Yeah,
working on. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, technically, I still did just the modern version of, like, love
Mhm.
letters, I guess,
Yeah, that's very true.
instead of just,
I
like,
think and
calling.
I do think, like, you're right when you say how, like, your generation is more open to, like, online dating. Because in my generation, I think that it was kind of not like it wasn't like a taboo thing, but it was just like, I don't know, it was like, "Oh, you couldn't find someone in real life, so you're like, you know what I mean? Which is not
Yeah.
because these days, that's all people are just online. It's, like, the most
Mhm.
place to, like, you'll find celebrities on apps now,
Oh, yeah.
so,
There's
um
specifically a dating app for just
yeah,
celebrities,
yeah,
and
Raya.
that's wild to me. That's
So, do you
crazy.
have you ever heard of that one, Raya?
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
think I
that
think you
one
told me, actually.
yeah, so that one and this is, like, from Dumois,
Mhm.
like, what do you call it? Like, the gossip, like, Instagram site, but apparently how that works is you have to be invited on. Like, someone has to invite
Uh-huh.
you, like, you can't just sign up, and then, she once told a story where because people, like, will message her and be like, "So and so's on Raya, so and so's on Raya," and Raya actually reached out to her and was like, "Can you stop, like, putting it out there as far as, like, which like, they'll say stuff like, "John Mayer's on here," and, "I
Oh.
matched with so and so," or whatever.
Oh.
So it was, like, this whole thing, so yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, I can
Yeah.
only imagine our future generations and how they're gonna date.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Um
And then I guess for now, it's just like, I'm sure like instead of talking on the phone, I'm sure there's a lot of like FaceTiming going on, which I would hate if when I just like because I'm just a self-conscious person. Like I
Mhm.
still don't know what I'm doing here on YouTube. But like just to be like, whenever someone FaceTimes me, I always hang up and be like, what? Like text them back, what? Like, um,
What do you want?
yeah, yeah, but I'm sure, that's one of super, like, into that, or, like, I probably for you too, like, video chat was a thing?
Yeah, but I didn't do it. I mean, I know again, you were saying that your generation did a lot of calling. I actually
Mhm.
prefer to never talk on the phone. I have an aversion to talking on
Mm,
the phone.
mhm.
I don't like calling people on the phone.
Yeah, I think, like, 99% of people, like, feel that way, like, you know how there's that
Ah.
meme about, like, the coworker that will message you and be like, "Can you jump on the phone? Like, it's easier if I, like" and everyone's like, "Ugh,
Mm.
like, can you just message me?" or whatever. Yeah, I feel the same way, and it also, like, is weird, like, if someone calls me, like, it makes me feel like there's some sort of emergency. Do you feel
Um,
that way? Like, it's just like, why are you like, no one
it depends
calls
on
me,
the
right?
person.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's interesting that you say that now because you grew up in a generation where
Yeah,
you did talk on the phone a lot.
yeah,
Me, I'm like, I'm not picking up unless I know your number, and I
yeah, yeah.
screen
Oh,
all of my
yeah.
calls.
Absolutely. You know what's funny? That's true, it depends on it's like Noah is,
Mhm,
call for me, I don't know if he does it with, like, his friends, but, like, for me, he calls me, like, which I
mhm,
super appreciate, because he's, like, my favorite person, but, like, he like, every couple days, like, it'll be him, and we'll just talk for a little bit and stuff like that. But
mhm,
it
mhm.
besides him, I don't think I talk on the phone with anybody else. Like, it's
Right.
just, like, everyone texts, so
I don't know. I
yeah.
feel like if you're gonna call me, preface with, like, a text first so I
Yeah.
I know that you're gonna call me. It's
Like,
like,
"Heads
"Hey, are
up,
you
I'm gonna give you
busy?
a yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can I call you right now?"
It's so funny how, like, it hasn't happened recently, but, um, at work or, like, with my boss or whatever, she'll be
Mhm,
like, "Oh, did you contact so and so in whatever department?" I'm like, "Yeah, I emailed her or I slacked her waiting for like, a message back," and she's like, "Did you
right.
try calling her?" And it's like, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't even it doesn't even, like, go into your head, right? To,
Not
like,
an
actually,
option.
like yeah, call someone or, like, when my phone at work rings, I'm like, "Well, like, what is that?" Like, like, I get hella startled, like, who call I don't even know my own phone number at work. Like, I hate it when
Right.
people ask for, like, work phone numbers. Like, I don't know, like, it's so
No.
weird. Yeah,
Here's my email, just email me.
I know. Slack me, I don't understand.
Oh,
Okay, let's see what
gosh.
else is on our topic. Mon, do you have, like, an opinion or a thought about the attitudes in general, just general, like I could go first because I kind of thought about it, like in your generation. Like, I don't know, like I don't know if it's attitudes, but I feel like my friends and I talk about this. So, obviously we're all this my friends and I are the same age, and we talk about how for us, like our kids are like, they're Gen Zers, or maybe, yeah, there are our kids
Mhm.
are Gen Zers, and how like for us when we were growing up, it was just like, I'll talk about like work, like we literally would take any job for to make money. Like our parents, a lot of our parents for us our age, like weren't able to support us, like when we were really, like say high school or college
Yeah.
or whatever, like we all worked, and worked really really hard, and kind of did like work. It was very common to like work retail, work food service, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Whereas I feel like the generation of kids that we have, which are Gen Zers, are like super picky about anything that they do. Like, I'm not gonna do that. And it's just so bizarre because it's so different from how we grew up, where I feel like we just worked our asses off. And I think that's one of the things that like Gen Zers are kind of known for. But like, I don't know, like, do you have something that you feel like that with your generation compared to others?
I think in my generation, I read somewhere, probably TikTok. Um, I read somewhere where they were like the millennials. They were told to, as long as you worked hard, you studied hard, you get into a good school, you'll find a good job, and you'll be fine. I think what we found out in my generation is that, yeah, we all went to school believing that we had to go get a degree to get a decent job.
Mhm.
And when we finally got that degree, we were, obviously we had a bunch of loans that we're still trying to get paid off or forgiven. And it's still hard for us to
Yeah.
find jobs
Yeah.
because people of the older generation and the boomer generation, they think that like you need to have 5 years of experience out the gate. And it's like,
Yeah, and
that
how
makes
do
no
you get
sense.
yeah, how do you get it? Like, I totally 100% agree with you because, like, I help Noah, so
Mhm.
my son, he's like, I think he's like a really, really young millennial and like a real like an older like Gen Zer, and it's kind of just like, definitely in that boomer generation, it was like whoever went to school, whoever got these fancy degrees were the ones that made good money and like were able to buy that home. That was the
Right.
American dream, right?
Right.
Oh my god, it is so not even for us, like, it's not like that, and I
Yeah.
see, like, you guys and, like, the kids, it's just like it's like a whole slew of problems, and
Yeah.
also the fact that, like, inflation and everything is so expensive, so, even
Mhm.
if you have that fancy degree, doesn't mean you're gonna get paid well enough to, like, survive or to live, like, a comfortable life,
Yeah.
so
And I think before, at least in the when it comes to working, the older generations, it was always about, climb that ladder, keep
mhm.
getting promoted,
Yeah.
get more and more money. Um, and however difficult it is, it's like people are finding that a lot of people don't want to end up in management, which is where you usually end up when you get
Mhm.
promoted. And they're like, I just want to live a simple life. And I think my generation embraced what they called their grandma era, like, a lot earlier. It's like, I just wanna go to work, do whatever I gotta do to get paid, and go home
Yeah.
and crochet or make
Sh
soap.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I just remembered? So, I just remembered about, how like, one of the things is we were talking about this earlier, how people in, like, even Gen Xers and even, like, millennials, not like, people have less kids or no kids, right? That's a
Mhm.
thing. That's, like, a generational thing. Lisa, was telling me about what is it? Dink? Like,
Oh,
Dink.
yeah,
Yeah.
double income, no
Income,
kids.
no kids. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, that's such a thing now, or, like, dink wag, right? Or dink wad is
With
double income, no kids with a dog.
with a dog.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
super common, like,
yeah.
dinkwad, I think they call is just, like, we see, like, all, like we follow on YouTube, like the YouTubers that we watch and like Instagram influencers, like
Mhm.
a lot of people are really foregoing like having children, which is like, I mean, it's a choice, right? And oh my God,
Mhm.
they're so expensive. And
It's
people are actually
expensive.
conscious of that now. And it's not just all about like, oh, in the past it was like that's what you do. You just have kids. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was people didn't even like I don't remember for me. It was different because Noah, we had Noah when he was really young, when I was really young, but it was just like I never really thought, not that I didn't have a choice, but it was just like, yeah, I'll have kids one day,
Mhm.
where now it's just people really think about it. Like, is that something that, which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I am glad that people are making more of a conscious decision on whether to have kids and not just like on a whim. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, there's some situations where that isn't necessarily the case, but we're definitely more like, I think I'd rather have pets
Yeah.
than a kid. I
Right,
mean,
right.
pets are also very expensive if you take care of them really well,
Yeah.
if you
But they
spoil
don't
the
have
heck out of them.
they don't have to go to college though.
Do not have to go to college.
But some people send their pets to freaking daycare. Did you
Oh,
know
yeah,
that?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
and
it's
yeah.
like a which is wild, like, that's so crazy.
I don't have kids, but when I found out how much daycare costs on an hourly basis for
Yeah.
my parent friends, like, we're paying that much to have kids be watched?
By other yeah, that's why some people choose to, like, have one, which is very difficult where we live, of course, but, like, a one-income household because it's almost the same thing to, like, send your kid to be watched by someone else than for
Yeah,
someone to just stay home and do it themselves,
right.
So, it's just great, like, yeah, that's another thing,
Mhm.
there's so much, this topic is so broad, but,
Right.
we're kind of, like, already nearing the end, I
Mhm.
think, but Mon, did you
Yeah.
have a game?
If you're just listening to this podcast, if you wanna see this segment, if this does make it onto the channel, check out our YouTube video podcast episode and,
Yep.
watch it on there.
Yes, at OA Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. So, basically, the game is
I'm scared.
it's kinda like miming type thing.
Mhm.
It's asking you what motion you would do to do this action,
Okay. Oh, so
okay?
I gotta get, like, physical here?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's why it's, like, a little hard to, discern
Oh,
on
yeah, that would make no sense to do this on the podcast.
Okay.
Okay.
So, how would you make a heart?
I knew you
Or
were gonna do
this.
yeah, it's this too, but I would go like that.
Oh, you go like that, the big
Yeah.
old motion.
Yeah, but I mean, like, just like when I'm just doing like what I like on instinct, like, you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
No,
Like, yeah.
absolutely. Go on instinct. That's the best
Yeah,
thing you
but I
could do.
know that, like, that's a heart. I'm not
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
it
yeah.
right,
But do
but, like,
you
in that
actually
but
use
I would
it?
not
Oh,
do
yeah.
that. I wouldn't yeah, that
This
but
or like
I wouldn't do that. Yeah,
this
I
or
just
like this.
okay,
Okay, okay, okay.
alright,
The
I can
next
do this.
one the next one is how do you answer the phone?
Hello?
Well, like the action, like,
Actually, you know what? I mean, like, I
or I
don't know,
mean, like,
like,
literally, how would you pick up a phone to answer the phone?
like, I would
Oh.
hit speaker on my phone.
I mean, I would literally pick up my phone
Yeah, yeah,
and be
like,
like,
you'd go like that.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
right." Well, some
What are the
people, they were like
differences?
this.
Oh,
Some
like this?
yeah, because you're holding a phone
Oh,
or
yeah, yeah.
whatever. But, like,
I
back
guess
then,
another one could
a
be like
handset would be like
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah, you would literally go like that on your handset,
Yeah.
yeah.
The next one is, how do you hang up the phone?
Like, if I had a handset, I would go like that. Yeah, exactly.
Hang up.
Yeah.
Let's
This
see.
is funny.
Yeah. How do you roll down a window? I've
Well,
experienced both, okay?
like, so in our generation, it's like this.
The
Like, in a
roller
car
window.
yeah, like a car, like, when
Yeah,
we were
and then
growing like yeah,
or
exactly.
even more accurate, it's just a touch now because it
It's
automatically rolls
automatic,
all the way
yeah.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll roll all the way down or up, and you
Yeah.
have to, like control it, man. Yeah, in my day, in
It
my
was
day, it was like the
roll it
yeah,
down.
yeah.
Clearly, there are, like, some differences
Mhm.
in how we do things between generations, but
You know what? I feel like we, on an everyday basis, when you and I like hang out or um talk or whatever, it never really comes up. Like we never like,
Mhm.
I know you always say like you don't notice. I don't really notice how much younger you are, but when we have like these kind of conversations, it's like you could really see how different, you know, or how
Yeah.
different or how big our age gap really is. It's pretty funny. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I know, look
So
at us,
yeah,
2 different generations
yeah.
being really good friends.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Okay. So I think gosh, there's so much more to talk about, but we're going to go ahead and end the episode here and maybe one day we'll
Yeah.
come back, we'll come back to it and talk about it a little more,
Yeah, I'm
right?
sure we will. I'm sure we will.
So, if you've listened till the end of the episode, comment or DM us on Instagram, on our Instagram post, or leave an emoji. You can leave an X, Y, or Z, or whatever
Oh,
you'd like that relates to your generation.
yeah. Well, that'd be interesting to see
Yeah.
if, like, other generations put
Yeah, or we can see like like our listeners, like what they are a majority of. You know what I mean? Like, do
Mhm.
we have more Gen Xers or millennials or whatever? So
Yeah.
yeah, Gen Xers represent on the Instagram post.
Woohoo, millennials! Team millennials. I don't know. But yeah, don't forget to follow, rate, and subscribe to our podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Check us out on there. Chat with us. Ask us any questions. And obviously, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at OA Podcast.
Yep.
You'll find obviously our video podcast episodes on here. But you'll also find some extra visual content like little vlogs or little highlight
Yeah.
reels, so you can get to know us a little bit more with our little OA-ness.
All right, you guys. Till next time, stay OA.
In the best way.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!
Bye, you Gen Xers out there.
Represent millennials.
Bye.
Bye!